I was shown this technique by an engineer out in LA, and when they showed it to me, I took a photo. I was so excited, but I had to cut the footage because I was sworn to secrecy. Out of respect, I kept it to myself until now. I've worked on thousands of masters, and most of the changes I make are tiny, but what Connor Carroll showed me with SPL Transient Designer gave me a brand new way to shape punch and movement in mastering. In this video, I'll show you exactly how it works and a few sneaky moves you can use to take it even further. If you're serious about mastering and always chasing those 1% improvements, this one's for you. And if you want to go even deeper, I put together a free 5-day mastering sprint to help you level up fast. Links in the description for that. So let's get down to the juice. When I was over at Connor Carroll's mastering studio, we were going through some sessions and he was showing me this trick with the SPL Transient Designer. He let me take a photo of the settings, but he said not to share it until I saw this video from the Faders of the Lost Art podcast episode, which you should go check out. Faders of the Lost Art. I'll leave a description down below. Where are we? Here we are. Let's roll this.
Kick drums, but what do you do for low end?
There's honestly a little, I don't know if it's a secret, but if you use the SPL Transient Designer on a master.
Okay.
And
which one? The deluxe or the
regular
simple one?
The deluxe with the sidechain.
Okay.
That's the whole thing behind it. It's like, you know, maybe like turning it up to low and then turning the sidechain on, boosting the attack and sustain.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes the...
Wait, say that one more time slow for those of us sitting in the back.
For those of us who are slow.
Yeah.
It's slow. So... with the SPL Transient Designer, there's the sidechain option.
Okay.
And like it's like low, mid, high, and if you like leave it in between like the letters of low,
yeah,
and then adjust the attack and sustain, it opens up the mix more and makes it more dynamic.
That's the sauce right there, y'all.
I'll try that.
That's
for
the
sure.
sauce right there. That's why I was like, hold on, slow down before.
Yeah, it's just so like the low end doesn't crowd everything and you can just like break it.
Damn.
He actually showed me this in person in the studio a few days after when I went to visit him. I took a photo of all the settings so I could go back to my little apartment that I was staying at while I was in LA and actually go through the settings to figure out what was happening. Now, so I'll get over to Plugin Doctor. So this is SPL Transient Designer, and what he was saying is we use the sidechain on, and we try and get this between, and when he was explaining to me in person, W, O, or L, depending how the kick was shaped. And I was really curious, so of course, when I'm curious, I put in a Plugin Doctor. I sidechain soloed what the filter was doing, and what it actually is doing is just a band pass filter, and at the O, it's just around 90 hertz. That's what it's sidechaining. So it was good to always know, like, sort of what frequency was there, because what I've been doing with this is pairing this up with the spectrogram in RX Audio Editor to find where the knock of the kick drums are, and then finding that knock and pairing it up with this. A quick way to do this, so I'm going to show you what this sounds like just as Connor's explained it, but then show you a little hack to sort of level it up. So I'm just going to move over to the desktop now, and we're going to go in here, we're going to turn, where are we? Sidechain on. The sidechain filter has to go to the O. Now, when he showed to me in the studio, he was recommending attack 3.5, sustain 3. Those are his settings. Now, this doesn't work on everything. I'm going to give you some little advice in my experience using it, but this is just me using it, and we'll turn it on and off. And the sustain in the kick definitely lengthens out. The transient gets a little bit more of a spike, but for me, this is cool. It works really well on dance music that has already like a side chaining pumping sort of sound. If you use this on anything else, it tends to go against like traditional pop or rock tracks. That pumping isn't always desirable, but with dance tracks, it's awesome. Now, this is the start. Now, in terms of dialing this in, a little hack I found is In StandardClip, you've got a window finder here of the transients over time. So what I actually like to do is solo the sidechain. I'll boost the gain here. This is just for visual so I can see. My aim here is to find a part of the sidechain that is mainly transient dominant. And take a look at this, what I get visual in the viewfinder here. What I'm looking for is a point where the transient and the body sustain is separated as much. So I'm just getting a lot of dynamic push in the sidechain. And this was at the L, not the O. I know I'm not being super technical using letters here, but this is how Connor taught it to me, and it's how I've remembered it and transferred it to here. So basically, if I'm in a session and I'm going to do this on a dance track, I'm pulling up StandardClip after it to try and dial in this sidechain filter so it's mainly the transient of the low end separated from where the sustain is driving what's happening here. Now, where I'm ending up, so that's dialed in there because I've used this to sort of dial in the transient. It's not super technical, but it is what it is. Once I'm there, I will pull the sidechain solo off, and typically as much as 100% is quite an obvious sound, it can be pretty heavy-handed. So I'm sitting at 50%, okay? Typically at 50%. And then I've got one last little hack if you in a stuck position, how to use this. I actually like the sound of this on anything that's dance. This is a really cool trick. But the other week I had a track, I can't show you because it's not released, where the transient in the track was really smeared with the sustain of the bass. So this was just sort of working against everything. Like I couldn't get it to dial in. What I ended up doing is I ended up making a copy of that track onto a separate channel and using a gate to like really aggressively gate it, and then use an external sidechain here. So I've got bus 12, and if I click sidechain external, I can actually use a separate signal to trigger the transient design. So this was just a level up. So here is the sidechain signal. We'll just play this through. All I did was gate the hell out of it. And the reason why I gated the hell out of it is because with this, what I could do then is go to the mix, go to the mix, and actually use, instead of the internal signal, sidechain filter, use an external signal, which is the original mix just heavily gated. And that gave me a lot of punch to what was going on. So what we'll do is we'll turn this sidechain external on and off, and we can take a listen to the effect of using a gated sidechain signal for this. So yeah, that was pretty heavy-handed, but it's a really good workaround I wanted to share with you when you're in a tough place, because I was in a tough place last week with a particular track, and sidechaining a gated signal here really helped me leverage this processor to get some. If you're interested in these 1%er techniques, go watch this video here. It's an hour long of all the mastering techniques from last year I updated and did updates on. So go enjoy that, and until next time, take care.